Welcome back to our show, your show, Let's Talk Stocks. In studio with us this morning, and we must say we're very honored to have the new chairman of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. By the way, he's a deputy CEO of Grace Kennedy Financial Group. Of course, I'm talking about Mr. Stephen Whittingham. Welcome, Chairman.
Thank you, Nielsen. Thank you for having me.
All right. So, Stephen, you're the new chairman of the JSE. Talk to us about who is Stephen Whittingham.
Oh, that's a tough question.
That was an easy one.
I thought you were going to ask me some easy questions about the strategy of the stock exchange. No. So, firstly, I'm a dad of 4 lovely children and husband to my wife. But professionally, I've had a long career in finance. I started my career at BlackRock in New York on the asset management side. Ran fixed income money for pension plans, insurance companies, all kinds of institutional investors. And then from there, I went and did a stint at Morgan Stanley Investment Banking in London and New York, Harvard Business School, and then I came back to Jamaica to run a family private equity office funded by a family office out of the United States. And we made some private equity investments in Jamaica and in Mexico, and we exited those in around 2012, 2013. That's when I joined the Grace Kennedy Group. So it's been 10 plus years at Grace Kennedy. And when I joined the Grace Kennedy Group, I joined First Global Financial Services, which is an organization I understand you know very well.
Very well.
And I was the president of First Global Financial Services, and I became a member of the board of directors of the Jamaica Stock Exchange then. And so for over 10 years, I've been on the board of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Been a privilege and an honor for me to watch what the stock exchange has done over these many years, all of its accomplishments and accolades, especially under the leadership of Marlene Street Forest, Dr. Marlene Street Forest, I need to say. And it's been a wonderful journey. So to know, have been appointed the chairman of the stock exchanges is an honor for me, and something that I'm looking forward to doing, to just continue my contribution to the organization in whatever way I can.
So for the viewers, you've heard it, Stephen is well qualified to be the chairman of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. But the stock exchange itself has done phenomenally well, certainly over those 10 years or so that you've been on that board. We've seen tremendous changes. What would have stood out for you, the growth and so on? What would have been the standout?
So a few things. First of all, the junior market. We were kind of talking about it before our session started today, but the junior market has been a phenomenal success, right? I think just putting the capital markets closer to the financial community, putting it in the reach of medium-sized businesses and small businesses, I think has been a real catalyst for a lot of what we've seen in the market, right? You've seen companies coming to market, and you've seen people investing in companies that they're not these large, massive conglomerates like Grace Kennedy, but smaller companies that people feel like they can touch, and that has been a fantastic thing. And I think that has also buoyed a lot of the other larger entities and on the main exchange, and really facilitated their continued growth. And you've seen it, that what that has resulted in is for at least a few years during that last 10-year period, Jamaica being the #1 ranked stock exchange in the world. So that's one thing. Another thing that has been really impressive to me has been within the business of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, which is the diversification that it has achieved, right? So CBX is one of the things that we have, the tools that they've used to diversify. But the JCSD and what they have done there, and the way it has, the role that it plays in our financial markets today, its financial contribution to the exchange. If you think about it, we're in a market now marked by high interest rates, and usually whenever that starts to happen, the stock
markets would tumble.
typically get under pressure. People start moving flights to quality and start moving away from equities into fixed income, and that means that cess income and trading income, falls for the stock exchange. And what you've seen in the past, 10 years ago, that would have been catastrophic for the stock exchange. Today, what you're seeing is that's not the case. The stock exchange now has multiple streams of revenue, diversified, and that has really, really put us in a really good position going forward. And I think lastly, just the recognition of the stock exchange, the brand itself. I think it has always been a pillar of the financial community in Jamaica, but with its successes built over the years, with its efforts to enhance general financial literacy for the entire community, with its efforts for how it engages with potential customers for the exchange, the way it engages with the community. I just think that it has always been a pillar of the financial community. I just think it has now become even closer to the hearts and minds of the Jamaican population.
Absolutely, and not just the Jamaican. Off here before we start, you were talking about the junior market.
Yes.
And the fact that internationally people are modeling their markets after the junior market. I know, for example, you would have been with a team down in Guyana. Talk to me about that reception from Guyana and how you think, or influence in developing the markets across the region, will play out.
Well, I didn't make it to that trip to Guyana. I'm going later this year. Okay. But what I will say to you is that I'm quite familiar about what has happened because I've been close to what has transpired. But the reception there was very, very positive. We had quite a few team members go and quite a few members of the entire financial community here. What is happening in Guyana is really special for our region. And the fact that the Jamaica Stock Exchange is a part of the discussion in that market in terms of opportunities for collaboration. How can we leverage the extensive financial capital markets that we have here in Jamaica, which I think we might take for granted how advanced they are and how advanced the capital raising capabilities of our market and how they've developed over time. And so, places like Guyana, it is a real natural opportunity for us to collaborate and to grow. And then, in other parts of the Caribbean, we've had historically lots of cross listings with the other exchanges. And we have a very vibrant exchange here. And so we have to find ways to take the success that we have had locally, take the recognition that we've had internationally, and then expand our roots regionally.
Absolutely. When we talk about the Jamaica Stock Exchange, I mean, you spoke to the JSE and how the pivotal role that it has played. But more on that diversification, because we're not just trading stocks anymore. We're listing bonds and so on. What's your take on how the team at the JSE has been able to read the markets, understand the demands of the people, and be able to answer and provide solutions to those demands?
Well, I mean, I think they've done a fantastic job, and I think Marlene, Dr. Street Forest, has been a visionary leader for the exchange, right? And why I say that because I think the stock exchange has done more than sort of read the minds of the consumer and of the market. I think they've been pioneers in setting up institutions that are ahead of their time, and that is truly the mark of being visionary, right? And so when you take a look at, we talked about the junior exchange, you talked about the US dollar exchange, we're talking about the trading of fixed income instruments. Now we're talking about the trading of Government of Jamaica instruments. There's talk about facilitating cross-selling, short selling, right? There are so many things that are a part of the history and of the pipeline, and that has contributed to the diversification. And as our capital markets has developed, the issuances of bonds, the services of the JCSD have become even more critical part of what we're doing in our market. So the stock exchange, the role it has played, has really transitioned from, as you said, just being focused on equities to now being a really critical pillar of the capital markets in Jamaica and in the Caribbean.
You're following in the footsteps, Stephen, of big names.
Big names.
Having led this exchange as chairman, the shoe is now on your foot. How do you intend to continue or to build on that legacy? What's the vision that you're now bringing to the table? I know it's early days, you know, but what's your vision? Where do you see it going?
All right, so Nielsen, I think you're right. When I walk into the boardroom of the stock exchange and they have all of the pictures of all of the chairmen over the many years, chairman and chairwoman of the stock exchange for the many years, it really is a daunting kind of feeling to know that you are in that position now. And it's something that I don't take lightly, and I'm very grateful for the support and confidence of my fellow directors of the exchange. With that said, I think the stock exchange has a clear strategic vision, and there's some pillars, strategic pillars that have been really the focus of the organization, and a big thing is to make sure that we continue on those pillars, right? So we talked about the continued diversification of the exchange, and that's something that we have had success in, but it doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities for us to continue with that diversification. I think that success that we've had, there's an opportunity to build on that and to create that diversification that, in a time like we are in now, where equity markets are challenged in any way, that, the stock exchange is even able to continue to grow. And so we're going to try and focus on that. Regional expansion is another really important strategic pillar for me. We started to talk about it with Guyana and the other markets, but I really believe that the Jamaica Stock Exchange has the capacity to not only serve the capital market needs for Jamaica, but for the region. And I know that there are other markets in the other islands, and I am not here to say that we are going to be acquiring them or anything like that. But I really do believe that there is an opportunity for collaboration in ways that can really leverage what we have built here and create value for our shareholders at the stock exchange, create value for the stakeholders of the stock exchange, those who are invested in companies, taking a look at opportunities for cross-listing of the various stocks across the market, taking an opportunity to welcome the listing of stocks from other countries. And there's a whole host of things. How do we facilitate the efficient trading across the region in that way? So that regional diversification push is something that I think is important. And lots of effort has gone, and we say regional, but lots of effort has gone into collaborations with markets outside of Jamaica and outside of the Caribbean, Canada and Ghana and all of these places. So really expanding the geographic reach of the stock exchange is a big thing that I want to continue focusing on. And then the last thing for me is really about expanding the base of the stock exchange, the customer base, through whether it is engagement with our customers, whether it is enhancing financial literacy for those who are not actively involved in the exchange, just broadening the base, bringing more people in to the opportunities to create wealth for themselves that are created or possible through the stock exchange is really the third area that I'm very interested in continuing to focus on.
So we've been chatting with the new chairman of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. He's Mr. Stephen Whittingham, and you've been hearing him. Now you know why he's chairman, and seeing that he has all the characteristics and qualifications to lead this august institution going forward. But that's why we tell you, we give you information to make better financial decisions. Come back with us tomorrow morning at 9, another informative program lined up for you.